What is the beast? It's a Gentile empire without the rule of God. What is the beast? A Gentile empire without the rule of God. The reason why I'm saying it's a Gentile empire, meaning it's not an Israelite nation. This interpretation is different to every other interpretation out there. It's very different. It's a Gentile empire without rule of God, meaning it's against God. From, again, Revelation 13, but this time from 11 to 18. Now, 11 to 18, it's a full description of the second beast that came out of the earth, that has two horns. He is like a lamb, but speaks like the dragon. So it's a full explanation of this second beast. What is beast? What is this beast all about? So Revelation 13, 11 to 18. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast that came out of the sea. He exercises all the authority of the first beast that came out of the sea in his presence, and causes the earth, meaning people, causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast that came out of the sea, to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Now this second beast, he performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the first beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. So he's telling everyone on earth to make an image of the first beast that came out of the sea, that had 7 heads and 10 horns. So he's causing people to make an image of the first beast. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. To receive a mark either on their right hand here or on their forehead. And that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast. So you either have the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is not 666, that's wrong. It is 666, okay? It's not 666. There are 3 separate sixes. His number is 666. Let's go back again to Revelation 1 to 2. Revelation 1 to 2, we read again. Then I stood on the sand of the sea. Who is I? John the Beloved, the writer of Revelation, the book of Revelation. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having seven heads and 10 horns. And on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. And the beast that I saw was like a leopard, 1. Its feet were like a bear's, 2. And its mouth was like a lion's mouth, 3. And the dragon gave it his power and his throne and great authority. Now, John the Beloved stood on that sand of the sea. He saw this dragon coming out of the sea. He said, when I looked at this dragon that had 7 heads and 10 horns, he's describing this dragon. He's saying, I saw him, he was like a leopard. The feet were like a bear. The mouth like a lion. And the dragon, who is the dragon? Satan, gave it his power. So Satan gave all his power to this first beast. And his throne, even the throne, and authority. Who is this dragon, who is this beast, which John the Beloved saw coming out of the sea? Let's go to Daniel chapter 7 and verses 3 to 7. I have summed it up. I'm not reading it all literally, but I've summed it up. So the book of Daniel, Daniel is a prophet of the Old Testament. So Daniel 7 verses 3 to 7, Daniel also saw this beast, but he saw 4 beasts, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, each different from the other. So Daniel saw 4 great beasts coming out of the sea. John the Beloved saw 1 beast coming out of the sea. Now what did Daniel see? He said the first one was like a lion. The description of John the Beloved to this beast that came out of the sea, he said he had a mouth like a lion. Daniel saw one of the beasts was like a lion, a second like a bear, just like John the Beloved saw. The third was like a leopard, just like John. But the fourth one, Daniel says, it was dreadful and terrible, exceedingly strong. Who are these 4 beasts which Daniel the prophet had seen? Let's see who they are. The 4 beasts are lion is the Babylonian Empire, Nebuchadnezzar, the king. Bear is the Medo-Persians or Medi-Persians, Cyrus, the king. The leopard was the Greek Empire, Alexander the Great. And the 4th beast, who was the most terrible and dreadful of all, it was the Roman Empire, Julius Caesar. Now, how do we know that these beasts are these empires? How do we know the lion is Babylonian? How do we know the bear is Medi-Persian? How do we know the leopard is the Greek Empire? How do we know the 4th one is the Roman Empire? How? Well, the Holy Bible explains it. Let's go to Daniel again, chapter 2, verses 31 to 33. There's going to be a lot of biblical referencing and a lot of history, especially in the second part of our topic. Daniel 2, 31 to 33. You, O king, were watching, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose splendor was excellent, stood before you, and its form was awesome. This image's head was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. Now Daniel in 2:31 to 33, what happened? Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, saw a dream. He saw this statue, which the head was made out of gold, the chest and the arms silver, belly and thighs bronze, legs iron, and feet partly iron and clay. He called all the magicians of his country. He called all the sorcerers. He called all the fortune tellers. If any one of you goes to any clairvoyant, fortune tellers, black magic, I will kill you. Don't you dare, please, don't you dare go to such places. You are opening the door to Satan entering your life and destroying it once and for all. If you follow in this path, your end will be an absolute disaster. I guarantee it for you. Don't ever go to no fortune teller. Don't ever go to no clairvoyant. I don't care if they tell you 100% accurately what your life has been. They are the sons of the snake. They receive information from Satan. Period. Satanic. So Nebuchadnezzar the king saw this dream. He said, I'm not going to reveal this dream. Let me see these magicians and sorcerers. What are they going to do? They say we can tell the future, we can tell hidden things. So he called them all and he said, okay, I saw a dream. First of all, you need to tell me what dream I saw, and then you need to explain to me what this dream meant. None of them knew. He chopped their heads. He said, you're a bunch of liars. The word goes to Daniel, who was living in exile at the time, the prophet Daniel. The prophet Daniel goes and prays to the God of Israel, the true divine God. And he says, Lord, I need you now. I want to prove to Nebuchadnezzar and the entire nation there is only one God, and that God is the true one, the creator of everyone and everything, visible and hidden. Reveal to me, Lord, the dream of Nebuchadnezzar and explain the dream. God comes to him and he says, this is what he saw and this is the explanation of it. Daniel goes to the king. He stands before him. He said, King, this is what you saw and this is the explanation. Nebuchadnezzar salutes Daniel and bows before him. And he says, your God is the true God. Now, let's go to Daniel 2:38. 2:38, correct. Now this great image which Nebuchadnezzar saw in his dream, he said the head was made out of fine gold. Now Daniel said to him, he said, Nebuchadnezzar, you are this head of gold. What you saw, that head of gold is you, meaning Nebuchadnezzar. So the head is the fine gold, which is the Babylonian Empire. Since Nebuchadnezzar is that golden head, well, he was the king over Babylon. So the head of the statue or that great image, the head is referring to the Babylonian Empire. Now, let's go to the great image. It was made out of the head, fine gold. That's the Babylonian Empire. We see that in Daniel 2:38. The chest and the arms, they were of silver. It is the Medo-Persian Empire. Daniel 5:28 explains that. See, the Holy Bible is self-explanatory. So the chest and the arms, they were of silver color. They represent one of them is the Medi and the Persian empires, and we see that explained in Daniel 5:28. The belly and the thighs, they were of bronze color, and that is the Greek Empire. Again, Daniel chapter 8 verse 21 explains that very clearly. And historically speaking, the empire that came after the Greek Empire ruled by Alexander the Great, none but the Roman Empire. Now the Roman Empire is the fourth beast which Daniel saw in 7 verses 3 to 7. And Daniel said the fourth beast was the dreadful, terrible, shocking, awesome. The Roman Empire, oh my goodness, ruthless, ruthless. So many emperors came, I think they surpassed Satan. They were vampires. They were living on people's blood, thirsty for blood. Roman Empire. Now, let's go to Daniel 7, verses 7 to 8, and see the fourth beast. He's going to explain to us what this fourth beast is all about. He said, after this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, exceedingly strong. It had huge iron teeth. It was devouring, breaking in pieces, and trampling the residue with its feet. It was different from all the beasts that were before it. So the Roman Empire was different to the Greek, was different to the Persian and Medes, was different to the Babylonian Empire. This was much more terrible than all of them put together. It was devouring, breaking in pieces, and trampling the residue with its feet. It was different from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. And I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots. And there in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. I don't know if the image is clear. Can we turn these lights above? Daniel looked at the fourth beast, and he said it had 10 horns. The fourth beast had 10 horns. He said, while I was considering, while I was contemplating, about these 10 horns, he said, I saw a little one coming out. And as this little one came out, 3 out of the 10 were plucked out from their roots. And this little one had eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words, exaltation. Very boastful, very prideful. But how many horns did this fourth beast have? 10. But there was a little one, the 11th came out. The 11th one came out, and as it came out, 3 out of the 10 were plucked from their roots. But this little one had the eyes like a man, and he spoke pompous words. Let's go again back to 13, 1 to 2. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads, and how many? 10 horns. And on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. And the beast that I saw was like a leopard. Its feet were like a bear's, and its mouth was like a lion's mouth. And the dragon gave it his power and his throne and great authority. Now, Daniel, are you with me? Daniel saw 4 beasts coming out of the sea. John the Beloved in the New Testament saw 1 beast coming out of the sea. Daniel is saying that the 4th beast is the most terrible one of all. He has 10 horns. But the other beasts, one of them was like a lion, the other like a bear, the other like a leopard, but the 4th one, he just called it a terrible beast. This terrible beast had 10 horns. John the Beloved, he says, I saw 1 beast coming out. This 1 beast, he was like a lion, he was like a bear, he was like a leopard, and what else? And had 7 heads and 10 horns. What he's trying to say, that the 4th beast, which is that, we said the Roman Empire, it was so terrible, all the other 3 empires, the lion, Babylonian, the bear, Persian and Medes, the leopard, the Greek Empire, all of those 3 put together, this last beast was more dreadful than all the other empires before it. Are you with me? Yes or no? You sure? Okay. To understand who are the 7 heads, we need to read Revelation 17. Now, to understand the 7 heads in Revelation 1, in Revelation 13:1, we need to look at Revelation chapter 17 and verses 9 to 11. So Revelation 17, 9 to 11 says, "Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th, and is of the 7, and is going to perdition." If anyone can explain this to me, I'll give you a box of chocolate. Shall I read it again? I'll read it again. To understand the 7 heads of the beast that came out of the sea, which John the Beloved saw in Revelation 13, 1 and 2. To understand who are these 7 heads, will we go to Revelation 17, 9 to 11. I'll read it again. Here is the mind which has wisdom. You see, it requires wisdom to understand what the Holy Bible is talking about. It's prophetic and it's symbolic at the same time. Just being prophetic, the book of Revelation, just being prophetic, that is difficult to comprehend. Let alone being symbolic on top of it, forget it. Go and get your fish burger and chocolate sundae. Now Revelation 17, 9, 11 is going to tell us who are the 7 heads. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are what? 7 mountains on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th, and is of the 7, and is going to perdition. Now let's go to Revelation 17:10. Please bear with me. Revelation 17:10. It says, "There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen. 1 is still standing, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short time." Now, a mountain in the biblical terminology represents governmental system. A mountain in the biblical terminology represents governmental system. Now we looked at Daniel talking about the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the beast. We said they were empires. Yes? So that lion, leopard, and bear, we saw that also in Revelation 13:1, described by John the Beloved about the beast that he saw coming out of the sea with 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, if in Daniel 7, from 3 to 7, saying the lion is the Babylonian Empire, saying the bear is the Persian and Medes Empire, saying the leopard is the Greek Empire, and the terrible beast, the Roman Empire, well, the 7 heads, each one is also an empire. Because the 7-head beast that came out of the sea in Revelation 13:1 was like a lion, was like a bear, was like a leopard, same as Daniel saw. And we saw the lion was Babylonian Empire. So one of the heads, each head is an empire, a representation of an empire. Are you with me? I hope so. Now in Revelation 17:10, John the Beloved is saying, there are also 7 kings. So the 7 heads are also 7 kings, because if the head is an empire, this empire needs a king to rule over this empire. True or not? Babylonian Empire, who was the king? Nebuchadnezzar. Persian and Medes, Cyrus. Greek, Alexander. Roman, Julius Caesar. So wherever there is an empire, there has to be a king. So if there are 7 empires, there has to be 7 kings as well, because each empire requires a king to run it, rule it, and govern it. True? Yes? So John the Beloved in 1710, he says, there are also 7 kings, since there are 7 heads, 7 empires. But he's saying, out of these 7 kings or 7 empires, 5 have already fallen, gone. 1 is still standing. Now John the Beloved wrote the book of Revelation around 100 AD. At the time of him writing the book of Revelation, he is saying, at the time when I, John, wrote this book in that little island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea called Patmos in Greece, 5 of these empires had already gone. They were not in my time. But the time of me writing the book of Revelation, there is still 1 empire current. And the 7th one hasn't come yet, not in my time. It will come later. When it comes, it will stay for a little while, and then it'll be slain. And after it's slain, it will be healed. Let's go. Who are the 5 that have fallen already? At the time of John the Beloved writing the book of Revelation, the first one that was already gone was the Egyptian Empire. The second one, the Assyrian Empire. The third one, the Babylonian Empire. The fourth one, the Medo-Persian Empire. And the 5th one, the Greek Empire. These have already fallen when John was writing the book of Revelation around 100 AD, because these empires were much longer before John the Beloved. But he says there is 1 still remaining in my time. So which empire was ruling at the time of John the Beloved writing his book? The Roman Empire. The Roman Empire. 5 have fallen, 1 is. Daniel saw the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the terrible beast. Daniel explains the head was fine gold. That is you, Nebuchadnezzar. So the gold is what? Babylonian Empire. The bear, the Medo-Persian Empire. The leopard, Greeks. The terrible beast, the Roman Empire. So if these were empires, who was before the Babylonian Empire? Assyrian. Who was before the Assyrian? Egyptian. So when you count the Egyptian Empire, the Assyrian Empire, the Babylonian Empire, the Medo and Persian Empire, the Greeks Empire, the Roman Empire, that's 6. The 7th, he's saying, is yet to come. The 7th is yet to come. I want to go back to Revelation 17, 9 to 11. Please, bear with me. 17, 9. No, we've gone too far. 17, 9 to 11. Yes. I want to read it again. Now, 5 have fallen, 1 still is. We said it was the Roman Empire. The 7th one, John the Beloved is saying, is yet to come. How many heads did he see? The beast that came out of the sea? 7 heads. Each head is representing an empire. Yes? So, now, the 7th one hasn't come. Now when we read in 17, 9 to 11, look what he's saying. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, governmental system, empires, on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings, because every empire requires a king. 5 have fallen. Who are the 5? Egyptian, Assyrian, Babylonian, Medo-Persians, and the Greeks. These have fallen at the time of John the Beloved. One is, who was ruling at the time of John? The Roman Empire, the 6th. Look, one is the Roman, and the other has not yet come. The 7th head at the time of John is nowhere to be seen in the horizon. But look what he's talking about, the 7th. And when he comes, he's talking about the 7th head, and when he comes, he must continue a short time. The 7th head is another empire. When he comes, he must continue a short time. The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th. Now that's hard, isn't it? Man, that's hard. The 7th one hasn't come yet. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. The beast that was and is not. What do you mean he was and is not? Well, if he's not, he wasn't. The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th. And is the 7th. John the Beloved, is he the 8th or the 7th? He said, no, the 8th is the 7th. But I know when I went to school, number 7 is not number 8. They're 2 different numbers. Please. He said, no, the 8th is the 7th. He was and is not, and he's going to come. And this is the 8th and also the 7th. And is going to perdition. So at the end, the Lord Jesus will plug him from his roots and throw him in the river of fire. Who's in charge? The Lord Jesus. Now, can we go to the last slide, please? Yes. The 6 empires are, number 1, the Egyptian Empire, around 2300 BC. The writing, maybe it's a bit small to read. My apologies. Followed by the Assyrian Empire between 800 to 600 BC. Followed by the Babylonian Empire around 600 BC. Medo-Persian Empire around 500 BC. The Greek Empire around 400 BC. And the last 6th empire is the Roman Empire between 200 BC to 467 AD. They ruled over 600 years, the Roman Empire, and it was the most terrible, the shocking of all the other empires that came before it. And they ruled the longest, 667 years. We got tired of 2 years of lockdown. You haven't seen nothing. Imagine you are being enslaved by an empire who is like a vampire for 667 years. See, with all love and respect, some people when in Revelation 17 talks about there were 7 mountains, and on these 7 mountains this woman is sitting, and this woman is the great Babylon, the great harlot, the great Babylon, and it's sitting on the 7 heads, and then it's talking blasphemous things. Well, some people gave this interpretation about Rome. And they said the 7 mountains are the 7 hills where Rome is built on. And they said that one who's sitting on the 7 mountains is the Pope of Rome, but I'm sorry to say this to you, it is incorrect. Because one of the heads is the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is not the whole 7 heads. One of the heads, the 6th head, is the Roman Empire. So the 7 heads or the 7 mountains, the Revelation 17, is not Rome. The Roman Empire is one of the heads, not all of them. And we will see why it's not who they claim it is to be. But one thing I will say with absolute sadness, the Vatican City is infiltrated, so as the Universal Church is. It's very sad. Both East and West, Orthodoxy and Catholicism are infiltrated, but more so the Western Church, the Catholic, and precisely the Vatican City.